and representation of algorithm.
This call is now being recorded.
Okay.
And last num1, num2, that program.
Okay, so fine. So basically we have discussed about the algorithm and how to write an algorithm and some of the characteristics of an algorithm and some of the example program we have discussed. I hope so. 2 example program we have discussed yesterday, right? So that is a basic example.
Yes.
So yes, so that is a basic example that we have discussed in the yesterday class. So in continuation of that, we will discuss about the. So I will share my presentation first. Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So in the continuation of that, today we are going to discuss about the building blocks of an algorithm and how the control flow will be there in an algorithm and notation of an algorithm and some of the example which was related to this content. We are going to discuss about these 3 topics, that is building blocks of an algorithm, control flow and the notation of an algorithm. So first we will move with the building blocks of an algorithm. So there must be a 3 kind of building blocks will be there, that is instruction, control flow and function. The instruction is in the sense it will be a single operation that describe a computation. When it executes, it converts one state to another. So what we have seen in the previous class, the instruction part will be there, go to step 5 and go to step 6 will be your instruction. And if the one state has been completed, and automatically the next state will be executed. Once the result has been generated, the program will be terminated. So this will be comes under the instruction. And the control flow is an order in which individual statement, instruction or function call of an algorithm are executed or evaluated. So whatever the control happening in this, the computer science people have heard about the if else statements and switch statements and looping statements and all. So it will be a control flow. So whatever the control that was given over there, we want to execute the control flow and we need to execute the control flow and we need to terminate the program after getting the output, after getting the desired output, whatever output you are expecting. After getting those output, the program want to be terminated. In between these instructions, the control will be there where we want to go and what the steps we want to do. So these are the control flows. And now coming to the functions, the function, it will be a very huge topic that we will discuss in the 2nd unit and 3rd unit. So as of now, we are going to discuss about the instruction and the control flow of an algorithm. So instruction we have already discussed about in the previous class. What are the instructions we want to give? As of now, the algorithm, the instruction will be, we want to start with the start process and we want to end with the stop process. In between those steps, we can write your natural language and we want to execute the program, execute the algorithm whenever the desired output we are getting. So this is a sequence. And now coming to the control flow, it will be consist of 3 types, that is sequence control structure, selection control structure and case structure. So sequence, the sequence in the sense you have known about that the algorithm must be in sequence, that is step 1, step 2, step 3. Likewise, the algorithm want to be in a sequence. And now coming to the selection part, if one of the condition is true, you want to go for one statement. If one of the condition is false, then you want to go for another statement. So I will explain you with an example also. If the sequence will be the algorithm or program will be in a sequence order, no need of jumping to one case to another case. And in selection process, the condition will be checked. If one of the condition is true, we want to go for one statement. If one of the condition is false, then we want to go for another statement. So this is the difference between the sequence and the selections. And 3rd one is an iteration. So iteration process, it will be a looping statement. If the condition is true, then if the condition is true, then the particular statement will be executed continuously. Once the condition is false, then the statement will jump to the another statement. So this is a basic introduction about the control flow. Once again, I am explaining you that. So sequence, the order wise, whatever we have discussed in the previous class, the algorithm will be in a sequence: step 1, step 2, step 3. After that, step 4, step 5, something like that. It will be moves on. And the selection part, if one of the condition is true, then it will move to the another statement. If one of the condition is false, then it will move to the another statement. So this is a selection part. And third one, iteration. If the condition, if one of the condition is true, we have mentioned that if the condition is true, the particular statement want to be executed again and again. If the condition is false, then it will jump to the another statement, or it will jump to the stop statement. It will depends upon the output whatever we are getting in this. So these are the three types. So I have given you the definition over there, and I will share you the slides also. So any queries over here? So don't give the attendance here. You just mark the attendance in the Google Classroom. So it will be valid till 10:15. So don't give the attendance here. So I won't consider this attendance as your attendance. So any queries?
No, sir.
No. So once again, I am explaining you this. So building blocks of an algorithm which consists of three types. One is instruction and control flow and the function. So instruction we have discussed in the previous class. Whatever instruction we are giving in an algorithm with the help of the start and stop process. And control flow, which consists of three types, that is sequence, selection, and case structure. So that has been mentioned as sequence, selection, and iteration. So sequence in the sense, the program or an algorithm will be in a sequence order. So there is no jumping or looping activities will be done there. So it will be in a sequence. After completion of the step 1, it will goes to step 2, step 3, step 4, up to step n. And selection process, if the particular state, if you are giving the particular statement is yes, correct, then it will jump to the another statement. If the particular statement is false, then it will jump to the some other statement that was mentioned in an algorithm. And iteration, if the state, if you are need of any looping statement in your program for continuous execution of a particular block, then we will move for an iteration. So these are the three types of control flow over here. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely we want to take a running notes. Make it, who's that? Kawaja. Definitely want to take a running notes. You take a running note, that will be useful for you when you are seeing this slide after some of 1 or 2 weeks after you seeing this slide, you will have a clear idea about that if you are taking the running notes.
Thanks, sir.
And this, when coming to the notation of an algorithm, this is a very important topic, that is a notation of an algorithm. So computer science people have heard about the pseudocode, flowchart, and the step form. So these are the 4 different notation that was representing the algorithm. How the algorithm has been represented by these 4 notations, that is the step form, pseudocode, flowchart, and finally it will be come to the developer side, that will be a programming languages. So I am having a question here. So once you are creating an algorithm, whether the creation of an the person who creating the algorithm have need any programming languages skill? Once you are going to create an algorithm, those who creating the algorithm, whether he or she required any programming knowledge, programming skills? You can send me a message also. Have you understand the question?
No, sir.
No. So if you are going to write an algorithm for a greatest of 3 numbers, okay? If you are going
Okay,
to going to write a greatest of 3 number, whether you required any programming skills in the background?
No, sir.
No. Is there any other options? No, they not required. Yes. So yes, so those who are writing an algorithm, they have no need of any programming knowledge or something, but they want to understand the concept, what is an input and what is an output. So for understanding the concept, we can write an algorithm. And for the pseudocode, there were some of the keywords. And what are the keywords in algorithm that was mentioned there in the previous class? I told that for writing an algorithm, 2 keyword is compulsory. What is that keyword?
Start and stop.
Yes, so start and stop is a compulsory in an algorithm. Likewise, the pseudocode having some of the keywords. So pseudocode is a next step of an algorithm that we want to write nearly like a programming languages, and there will be a lot of keywords available in a pseudocode that we will discuss in the next upcoming slides. And next thing, it will be a flowchart. So can you explain me, the computer science students, can you explain me what is flowchart? So can anyone explain me what is flowchart? Have you heard about that? Then you can explain me.
So flowchart is a step-by-step process.
Okay.
It includes
Okay.
Which can make us easy to understand.
Good. So the major thing, it will be a pictorial representation or a graphical representation. You can mention any one of this. So it will be a pictorial representation or a graphical representation. So if you are writing a program, so if you are writing a algorithm for nearly 2 to 3 pages for a particular program, while you are studying those 2 to 3 pages, you can't able to concentrate on those 2 to 3 pages and find out the error. It will be somewhat difficult when compared to the flowchart. When you are coming to the flowchart, it will be a graphical representation. It means a pictorial representation where the links were given properly from one statement to another statement. Then you can find out in which the particular part the error has been occurred and what the modification we want to do to rectify those errors, right? I'm explaining you again. So the algorithm, in the sense, if you are writing nearly 2 to 3 pages of an algorithm for a particular program, while you are seeing those algorithm in a written format, it will be difficult to find where the error has really occurred. When coming to the flowchart, it will be a graphical presentation, which it will be interconnect from one statement to another statement. So that will be very easy to find out where the exact error has been occurred and what are the rectification steps that we want to be followed to overcome those errors. So this will be a major advantages of a flowchart when compared to the algorithm or a pseudocode. So most probably they will write an algorithm and they will write a pseudocode and they will produce the flowchart, and after that they will move to the programming languages. So these are the notation of the algorithm that we are going to discuss. And first one, it will be an algorithm as step form. It is a step-by-step procedure for solving a task or a problem. The step must be ordered, unambiguous, and finite in numbers. It is English like representation of logic which is used to solve the problem. So the major thing is to solve the problem. And these are the things that we want to remember, that keep in mind that algorithm is a step-by-step process. Use being or start to start the process. Include variables and their usages. So include variable and their usages. When you are coming to the previous example, I have mentioned that for finding out the Fibonacci sequence, we want to read an n number. So n is a sense, it will be a variable. So we want to include the variable wherever the variable is used in, what are the variables that was used in an algorithm. If there are any loops, try to give sub number list. So this we will discuss in upcoming programs. Try to go back to step number if loop for condition fails. So that was mentioned in iteration process. So if the loop or a condition failed, if the condition is true, the loop will be executing automatically. If the condition is false, then you want to clearly mention that in which step the loop want to be continued. Use jump statement to jump from one statement to another statement. So these are the keywords over here. So looping, jump, and try to avoid unwanted raw data in an algorithm. So raw data in the sense, if you are going for a major calculations or something, the backbone of your project, that was, you want to mention that if you are going with your backbone of your project, you don't need to describe all the backbones of your project in the algorithm. You can describe simple words that will understand for a developer, and define the expression. Whatever expression we are using, we want to define that. If you are using the greater than or less than symbol over there, and you want to define that with some of the sentences, we can also define that. So this is the expression that we are used for this purpose. We want to write in an algorithm. And use break and stop to terminate the process. The last stage will be there. First stage, it will be you want to start that, and you want to stop by using the keyword break and stop to terminate the process. So any doubts over here? So while seeing your slide, we can understand. It will be in basic English only. But while seeing your slide itself, you can able to understand. If you are clear with the previous class example, then it will be easy for you. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No. So can we move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it's getting bored?
No, sir.
No. Then so how many of them are a cricket fan right now?
Myself, sir.
Myself. Yes. Who's that?
Chinnapreddy.
Yes. Can I know the score? Yes. Only one fans are there out of 26.
Sir, 64 for 0.
64 for 0. So we are searching for a wicket right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So only one fans in the group of 27. Okay. So can we move for the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So next one, it will be a pseudocode. So pseudocode is another way of describing the algorithm. So the thing we want to, if you are writing this algorithm, it will come under in a general English. Then we can write anything over there, and we want to produce an accurate result. So that is a concept of an algorithm. But in the pseudocode, it will be consist of some of the defined rules or a structure and some keywords that make it appear a bit like programming code. So it is not a full-fledged of a programming code. They will have some of the structure and a keyword over here, and you want, by the using of this keyword, then you want to write and code over it to overcome the algorithm issues. So the n number of codes will be there, and we'll discuss one by one. So first one, it will be a start and finish process. So begin a main program or end a main program. So that will be a keyword when you are going with n number of, you are going with only one program form, then you can use a word, you can use a keyword as begin and end. And if you are using a large program that will having a n number of sub program, then we want to begin a main program and end a main program. So first point, it will be, if you are going with a smaller program, you can use begin and end function. And if you are going for a bigger lines of code programs, that is a bigger program, then you want to be mentioned as being main program and end main program. So these are the two keywords. And I want to mention here, you are not supposed to use these codes in your subject. You are going to directly in a Python language. But the thing, once you are going to the company after completion of your degree, then you are going to the company side, they will definitely follow these pseudocodes in all the projects. So while you are seeing that pseudocode, you want to identify what the thing is really happening in the project. So for that purpose, I am explaining you in depth. So the second step, it will be for initialization or end initialization. So initialization is a variable that you are initializing some of the values to the variable. Then we will move with this initialization and end initialization keywords. And for subprogram, so most probably same like that. For the smaller program, you no need of a subprogram. For n number lines of code, it will be increased. Then you want to go for a subprogram. For the subprogram, you want to initialize that begin subprogram and end subprogram for each and individual subprograms. There will be a n number of subprograms in one of the project. Then each and individual subprogram, you want to mention the code that begin subprogram and end subprogram. For a selection statement that I have mentioned, that if, then, else, and end if. So these are the keywords that you want to use for a selection process. If you are going to select any one of the statement from two, then you want to select this if, then, else, and end if. In the previous example, we have mentioned that if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, something like that we have mentioned by using of if. And here in the pseudocode, the if will be considered as a keywords if, then, else, and end if. So the multi-way selection. So case where, otherwise, end case. So this we will discuss when we are going with the programming things. For pre-test repetition, while and end while. For post-test repetition, repeat and until. So the keywords want to be written in capital. That is a major thing. The keywords wants to be written in capital. In algorithm, there is no structure or rules that was defined, and in pseudocode, some of the rules has been defined that you want to use a keywords, and that keyword want to be written in a capital format. So structural element come in pair. For example, that was given there, being there is an end. For every if, there will be an end if. So structural element want to be maintained. If you are started the program by begin and the program want to be finished by an end, if you have started any codes by if and the code want to be end by end if. So these are the structural element that you really want to follow in the pseudocode. And indenting is used to show structure in an algorithm. So the thing, first we want to write an algorithm and you want to create a structure for those algorithms by using the pseudocode. The name of subprogram are underlined. That means that will refine the solution to a problem. A word in an algorithm can be underlined in subprogram development. This feature is assessed to use the top-down development concept. So the concept is totally different. If you consider an example that in your program you are having nearly 20 subprograms, and each and individual 20 subprogram will start with begin subprogram and end subprogram. The main program will start with begin main program and end main program. For the each and individual subprogram, we want to be an underline. The subprogram wants to be underlined. The purpose of the underlying is once the error has been identified in subprogram number 5, then the whole subprogram number 5 want to be remodified without touching the subprogram number 6 or subprogram number 4. For that purpose, the subprogram wants to be underlined to rectify those errors, and it will consider as a top-down development concept. It will be really called as top-down development approach. From the top to bottom, we want to know what the things is really happening. So these are the conditions and the keywords that was going to use in a pseudocode. So is there any doubts? Or I want to explain it again. So I will recall some of the points. The main program want to be start with begin main program and end with end main program. If your program is having only one kind of structure, then you will go with begin and end. So initialization of a variable and the end initialization want to be mentioned clearly. And if you are having n number of subprograms, then that subprogram want to be begin subprogram and end subprogram. And for the selection process, if then else and end if statement has to be used. And the multi-way selection process, case where otherwise and end case statement want to be used. And pre-test process, while and end while. Post-test process, repeat and until. So the main thing, the keyword wants to be mentioned in a capital letters. And the begin, and if you are starting with begin, the program wants to be end with end keyword. If you are starting a statement like if, and you want to complete the statement by end if. So this is showing the advanced structure of an algorithm to identify those errors. And the subprogram wants to be underlined for the purpose of identifying the error easily. So these are the keywords and functions that was used in pseudocodes. So any questions here?
No, sir.
No. Remaining 27. Can you give me a text in a comment box, chat box? That will be enough for me. And thing you want to be remember that you are going to write an exam. So if you are having any questions or suggestions or doubts, you just clarify on the particular slide itself. So that's why I'm asking you each and individual slides if you are having any questions. Once the 2 or 3 classes has been went off, then it will be so difficult. Then we will move to the program part. And after that, this functions or statement, I can't able to repeat it again also. So that's why I'm taking the scratch as 3 classes. So basic itself, I am going with the 3 classes. So the thing, after 4 to 5 classes, all the parts will be a program parts. So at that time, I will just say that begin the program and end the program. So you need a clarity that why the statement has came there, begin and end. So that's why I'm telling. If there are no questions, just comment me in a comment chat box. No. Yes. Pragadish, can you unmute yourself? Pragadish. Pragadish. I will mark you an absent today. You can leave now from the class. That will be fine. If you are not responding, I will mark you an absent today. You can leave now. That will be more fine for you and me also. Yes, Pragadish, can you unmute yourself? Yes, thank you. So yes, now coming to the flow chart. So flowcharts are the diagrammatic method of representing the algorithm. Whatever the major thing, we want to represent the algorithm by using some of the methods that can be easily identified to the developer who was sitting in the programming language part. So that is a concept. And this scheme of showing operation in boxes connected by lines and arrows that graphically show the flow of control in an algorithm. So it will be a graphical representation that can be easily identified by you. So can you give me any one of an example in a real time that you can able to easily identify by using the graphical representation. Can anyone?
Can you, sir, can you please repeat again?
So yes, so in the real time thing, if you are facing some of the graphical thing in your mobile, right?
Example, sir.
So I will tell you the example also. You can, if you are all aware about the memes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it will be very nice when you are seeing the memes by related to some of the films or cricket or something like that. It will related some. The content is related to some of the graphical representation, like an image or a text. It will be easy to understand and we can easy to enjoy that, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Then you can just imagine that if the memes is coming in a text message where you really enjoy that memes.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So basically that will be an example that the graphical representation will have the graphical representation content will go in depth of your heart, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So likewise, the algorithm, if you are writing for a 15 to 20 steps, it will, whether it is easy or a graphical representation, it will be easy for you.
Graphical
Graphical.
representation will be easy for us.
Yes. So these are the symbols that was used in a flow chart. So graphical representation in the programming languages, it has mentioned as a flow chart. So these are the symbols that was mentioned in the flow chart. That is, first one it will be flow lines. Second symbol it will be terminator, and third symbol, whenever the input and output you are getting or collecting, it will be a data. And while you are storing the some of the process, the symbol is mentioned as document, and process, the symbol has been mentioned, and the decision making, if, then, if, end, if something, the decision making concept is there, and that triangle symbol want to be there. And if you are connecting one statement to the another statement, the connector symbol is there. And third one, next one, it will be predefined process. So next one, it will be predefined process, and next one is a preparation, and last one, it will consist of databases. So these are the symbols that was represented in a flowchart. Then we will discuss it with the real-time examples also. Just you can go with the slides, and I will share you the presentation. You go with the slides and just study what the content I have described for each and individual symbol. So the basic symbol is flow line, terminator, data input and output, document, process, decision, connecting process, and predefined process that was stored. That was predefined process. We no need to write those codes again and again. That was predefinedly fit in a project, in some various project. I will give you an example. So how many all are using the Gmail and Facebook, right?
Yes, sir.
So while you are entering into the Gmail, the Gmail is asking a username and password, correct?
Yes, sir.
And while you are entering into the Facebook or Instagram, they also are asking you the username and password, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the thing, what the really happening inside the username and password, they will check with the database, and they want to find whether that username and password are correct, and they will produce an output. If you are giving the correct username and password, they log into your home page. If you are giving a wrong username and password, then they will show you some of the error like that the username and password are incorrect. So this is the process is happening regularly, right?
Yes, sir.
The thing, if you are a developer of Gmail and Facebook, the username and password checking condition will not be changed. The checking condition is true, same like that in a Gmail and a Facebook, correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the thing what you want to do is, first you are creating a Gmail, then we can store that checking process in a predefined format, and we can use that predefined format in some other project that was really like that to check the username and password. So likewise, we are saving some of the lines of codes and pseudo codes in some other project is known as a predefined project. So usually it is called as a prototype. So this we will study in a upcoming syllabus also. So the thing, it will be a prototype in a programming concept. And here that was mentioned as predefined process. It was defined already, so no need to define again and again. So this is a concept. And next one, it is a preparation to giving you the output. And last one, the major thing, that all the project will focus upon the databases. So the database will play a major role in a programming concept, in an algorithm, and in a flowchart also. So database is a must, and it will be a keyword for all the programs. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we will move to the next slide. So kindly go with this example, and you can tell me what you are understanding. So yes. Can anyone? No need to explain those full algorithm. You just tell me what is really happening there.
Sir, finding the age of children.
Finding the age of the children, okay. So getting those age of the children and giving some of the rate and printing their allowance of each and individual children. Fine. Yes, I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So based upon the age, we are fixing some of the rates and giving the allowance for the particular child. So this and giving the output will be the what is the allowance for the particular child while by the calculation of the child age. Fine. So here now coming to the pseudocode, the prompt keyword has been used there. So I have not mentioned the prompt keyword in the pseudocode explanation. The thing we can use any number of keywords. If you are using the keywords, then you want to be mentioned as in a capital letter, and that will be stored in a database also. So the age of a child 1, the prompt database has been used, as well as the age of the child 2, the prompt has been used there. And for the calculation of an allowance, age of a child into rate, and calculation of a child 2, the age of the child into rate. So again, if you are giving an input, the age of the child is 1 and the age of the child is 2, then what will be the result? Now coming to the flow chart, the input age 1 is 1 and input age 2 is 2. Then what will be the print allow 1 and allow 2?
What is the rate?
Yes?
What is the rate?
Pardon, I am not audible right now.
What is the rate, sir? Rate.
So yes, the rate is missing there, and we want to reset the pseudocode now. Or we want to initialize the rate as 10. Before the, yes?
Allow 1 is 10, sir, and allow 2 is 20.
Yes, so it will be an output. Is there any error occur in the pseudocode? Apart from that rate error? Is there any error apart from that rate initialization?
No, sir.
No. So any other options? No.
No, sir.
No. So I have clearly mentioned that if you are writing for a smaller program, you want to start with the begin and end with an end statement. So here I was not mentioned any begin statement or end statement. So likewise only the example will be coming over to you, and you want, while you are writing in your examination, whenever you are starting your pseudocode, you want to write begin and end with the end statement. You kindly keep it that in mind. If you are not using those keywords, then the mark will be minused according to the question that was asked. So keep that in mind. That will be a keyword for paper evaluations also. So now coming to the algorithm that we have discussed. Now we will go with an algorithm and flowchart. So this will be a pseudocode and a flowchart. And now coming to the algorithm and flowchart. So take 2 minutes time, and anyone can explain me what is really happening there and what is the function happening. Then you no need to explain the algorithm or a flowchart. You just explain me what the function is happening there. So as I will give you time, I will share this presentation with you, and you go with those slides. And next class, I will ask you the questions what the function is really happening here, and I will ask you the random I will pick some of the random numbers and I will ask you the question. Be ready for that, right? Okay. So the time is getting late right now. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will share you the slides in your.
Yes, sir.
I will share you the slides in a Google Classroom. You just go through the slides and you want to explain me each and individual step, what is really happening in the flowchart or in an algorithm. That's depends upon you. So most probably all will go with the flowcharts. And you want to explain each and individual step, the decision making steps also. So I will call some of the one from the list randomly and I will ask you the question and you want to be prepared. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So is there any queries right as of now? So today we have discussed about the building blocks of an algorithm and control flows. What are the control flows that was mentioned in an algorithm and notations of an algorithm and example, some of the examples that was related to the pseudocodes and flowcharts, right? Okay. So those who have marked the attendance in a Google Classrooms, if you are not having any queries, then you can leave up now. I will share these slides in your Google Classrooms also. So ask your friends to join in a Google Classroom. So hereafter the attendance will be taken from the Google Classroom and the link will be shared within the Google Classroom as well as in a WhatsApp. So be concentrated on that. Only 24 has been joined. So inform your friends to join as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Any queries? So if you are not having any queries, you can move off right now. So those who are given in attendance in a chat box, it will not be considered. You want to give the attendance in the Google Classroom before 15 minutes of the class started.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So Vignesh, Vivek Solomon, Victor. Vivek, it was so audio noisy actually.